discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy. No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest. I hate when it does that. That's not what I told it to do. One moment, please, because now it's being dumb. I may be about to just move on without it because it's not doing anything. Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome everyone to another episode of the Cocktail Lounge. I am your hostess with the mostest, Aggie, and with me as always is the ever suave, affable, and quaffable co-host, Brad Slager. How are you doing this evening, Brad?
How is everything with Aggie this night?
It's calm. I'm chalking up the win.
She says haltingly. As if it may be disrupted at any moment.
Yeah, well, it was a little hectic here today because apparently Tuesdays are the designated bitch to Aggie days. So I had phone calls from two sisters, my youngest. I talked to you too, but my mom is everybody. And they all called to complain about something. Luckily, it wasn't me. They were not complaining about me. So it's always good. However, my ears were hurting by 7 o'clock this evening. I finally told she finally asked me, "Oh, wait, it's Tuesdays." And I said, "Yes." "Oh, okay. You probably have a podcast." I said, "In about 25 minutes.
You're taking it to the wire.
So wait, hang on. So just to make sure I'm getting my memos, Tuesdays are now designated as the We All
Yes,
Great
apparently
Aggie.
Tuesdays are designated at bitch to Aggie. Not bitch,
Okay.
bitch to Aggie, not bitch at Aggie. Okay, there's a
Well, now that I've
difference.
gotten my memos, expect more phone calls.
Okay.
Tuesday's the Puerto Rican vent line, apparently.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of bitching about that little island too. So yeah, okay. So
Wow.
hey, how about you? How was your Tuesday?
Well, no such drama, really. Just, fighting some tech issues as usual, and it's about it. Well, I find that the trick is not giving a damn.
You're pretty good at that.
Yeah, you just say, I'm not going to let this bother me. Screw off. Oh, and where's my drink?
Oh yeah, that's a
Yep.
big one. That's
Cope
that's a
in a
big one
glass.
for you.
Yeah. But no, it's been fun, and it's a good time of year right now because it's NHL's second season. The playoffs have begun, although it's a little bit odd that Florida's not in it. It just feels weird. Like, okay, they start Saturday and you're all, primed for it. And then at the same time, you have this like odd little non-grasp of the schedule and all that because Florida is not in it this year. It's like weird. So I'm watching placidly and rooting for various teams during a game just absently. It's like, yeah, what the hell? I'll go for them, kind of thing. But it's just, wall-to-wall hockey. I was watching one last night till like 1 a.m. because they get the double overtime. It's just cool as hell. So I'm having an enjoyable time with that.
So why isn't Florida in it?
Because we were basically a skating mash unit all year. I mean, just injuries like crazy.
Okay.
Sounds like a pedestrian complaint, but there were literally games. I remember one in particular. I think it was around February. They said, now we're going to go over all the scratches tonight. We had 8 starters out, including all
that's
4
right. I
starting
remember that.
centers. I mean, and then pretty much once it was mathematically out of the picture, then they just sat everybody so that everybody can get healthy. And for the last month or so, I've been watching our minor league team on the ice, which is fun. You get to know some players and such, but still it's we've just been a fixture the last 5 years in the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. So it's like, we're not even in this. This seems wrong. But
It does seem kind of wrong. I assumed that you guys were going to be in the playoffs with like 2 players. You would still make the playoffs.
No,
that's what I thought.
literally this team has been decimated this year. I think there's probably like 2 guys I can point to who probably weren't injured too often.
Those are the 2 I was referencing.
Yeah, they would. Everybody else is like, oh, you go and watch a game. Oh, what do you know? Seth Jones is back. I haven't seen him for 2 months. That's the big excitement. Is like, I haven't watched him play for a while. That's been our year. So, yeah, you just take it. I mean, it is kind of a rare instance, though, when the defending Stanley Cup champion doesn't make it to the postseason the next year. So it's an ignominious honor, as it were. So I think we're like the 3rd or 4th team that's ever happened to.
Well, you can take a year off, right? To recoup and, ground yourself, just recharge that playoff battery, so to speak, that's what you're going to be doing. So look at it that way.
I can, take it easy now too, because the last couple of years we're into June and I'm still not only watching, but like passionately connected to it. So it's,
you're insufferable. I'm kidding. You're not.
Am I?
You're not.
Listen, you.
I'm totally joking. Oh my gosh. But anyway.
No, it's okay though. It's casual viewing for me this year, so I'll just take it at that.
Yeah, it's something that you can just sit back and enjoy, and as long as Canada doesn't win, it's good.
Yeah, I just
I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it?
It was kind of funny in the game last night, though, between Ottawa and Carolina. They're in overtime. Carolina scores the winning goal, and there's like 5 minutes where they're not cutting away, and it's like, oh, hell. Well, they finally reviewed it and, got the Zapruder tape out and saw that the guy was actually offsides on the play. But then on the play, they had called a penalty because the guy had a breakaway and got hooked, so he got a penalty shot and could win the game that way, and he misses. And then 2 minutes later, Ottawa comes back, and the goalie barely gets his glove on the puck, and it reflects off the crossbar. And it's like, holy crap. And then Carolina wins it. Right. I mean, the whole game went on forever, but the last 4 minutes were complete drama. It was hilarious. So yeah, there I am at 1 o'clock in the morning, still watching hockey. So, but having fun doing so. It wasn't nail biting, heart stopping. It was just like, well, that's cool. Holy cow, that's wild. Let me go make a drink. That's cool.
It was relaxing and enjoyable for you to not be so heavily invested.
Yep. Yeah, and so, since half the family here is all Buffalo Bills fans, now we all have to root for the Sabres in the postseason, I guess. So,
Oh, that's a rule? Really?
I mean, I already kind of was, only because they haven't been in it for like 14 years, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's like, okay, well, let's pull for the true underdog, and then they're all over here tonight for dinner, and the game starts, and there's Josh Allen banging the drum, getting the game started, and whole crowd erupts, and then he grabs a beer and slugs it down. It's like, okay, there we go. So I can get on board with this.
Well, I'm glad that you are now just enjoying the playoffs in a laid back, pleasing manner rather than having your blood pressure spike every time the Florida Panthers took the ice.
Well, when this time of year too, you actually get me for the full episode as opposed to me, looking over my shoulder during the show and be like, go ahead. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's true. It's really funny because we could always tell when you were like totally not paying attention when you were like watching the show, the game.
Oh, and you see that, the congressional record, once they do, you son of a bitch, they need to come back and actually do a performance review. I'm professional. I can do this. But I have been rather active though. It's been a busy weekend on my end of things.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, The Atlantic.
Well, that has been a very interesting turn of events.
Oh, those idiots. I swear. I mean, this has been. I almost feel bad because it's times like this where
I do not.
You make my job too easy. And so I just sit there and I'm just taking notes all weekend. Like, so, well, that's on. Like Monday, I was full. Okay, that's done. And that's when I got up, it was pretty much my schedule was filled already because of these idiots.
One of the things that pleases me the most about this thing is that Patel warned them and followed through with his threat. And I'm very happy about that. It was not there was teeth behind that threat and he employed it. And I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, he didn't mince words on Friday and he did not waste any time on Monday. That was the funniest of all.
Nope.
It's just if anybody doesn't know, of course, the Atlantic came out with a scathing expose about Kash Patel, the leader of the FBI. Now, there were so many classic journalism hit jobs involved in this one story, starting with the fact that they do the Friday document dump. Just, late on Friday, belch it out. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's going to carry through the weekend and whatever. Friday basically is when you spill the big story that you want to be covered throughout, or if it's something scandalous on your side, you do it late Friday where nobody's working anymore. So if it comes out at like 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern, it's not going to get covered on the weekend. And then like a week goes by and people are like, wait, when did that come out? What? But if you do it in the afternoon, then it assures that it's going to spread on social media for days and get up on the Sunday shows and become a thing. Funny enough, it didn't really resonate that way, though. And so what we're talking about, if you haven't seen it, it was a lengthy piece where Sarah Fitzgerald, writer at The Atlantic, teamed up with John Lemire from MS Now. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
That itself was curious. And
I thought it was kind of almost incestuous, but okay. You can say curious.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of I think it's evidence that this was getting shopped around because a lot of people were hinting at this over the weekend. It's like, oh, that's the story. A lot of people passed on it. Of course, the Atlantic ran it. So that right there should tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, why didn't Jonathan Lemire break this at his network, MS Now? Curious. So it came out, and they had over 24 individuals giving testimony to how Kash Patel's a drunkard, how he's screwing off at work, spends more time in Vegas than he does in the office, yada, all of this crap. The highlight being at one point, he was allegedly passed out in his office with the doors locked. Nobody can get it, and they had to get battering rams to break into his office. Now, this seems like the kind of thing that probably would have come out at the time it happened,
Yeah, you would have thought that it would have been out then.
Wild story coming out of the FBI today, that kind of thing. No, this had to be spilled secretly and anonymously at that. All 25, I'm going with 25 because she says more than 24. Not a single one of these people are on the record. I mean, stop it. You talk to that many people and you can't get a single one of them to put their name on their comment. Well, they didn't want to be facing retribution for their comments and, have their job at risk or something. It's like, well, then maybe they shouldn't be talking shit. How about that? Is that a possible? But on top of it, okay, so that's, case number 2 about how this is a piece of crap hit job. But the list of sources that she gives in this story cracks me up. So, highly placed White House officials. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Executives within the FBI. And former FBI employees. I'm sorry, what? If they're not working there, how do they know what happened there? Question. Also on this list, political operatives. I'm sorry, but if a political consultant of any sort in Washington, D.C. said something and put their name on it, I still wouldn't buy it. Okay. I mean, these are horseshit peddlers of the highest degree. Also on the list of sources, staffers from other agencies. Not
Okay.
like
What?
leadership, executives at other, but the staffers. Okay. So the receptionist, I mean, who are we talking about here? Lobbyists.
What?
Lobbyists were sources for this story. Really? I'm going to put them in the same category as the political operatives. I don't care who they are. Give me their names. I'm still not listening. And
Holy
best
crap.
of all, individuals in the hospitality and service industry. So bartenders and waitresses are sources for your story. And even they wouldn't put their name on any of the information they gave. Is that what because they are risking their job? Now, I suppose that means, if let's say a bartender gave his name and then they said, oh, this guy's spilling secrets in DC from that bar. And then people stop going to the bar, I guess, that are working in Washington. All right, maybe you shouldn't be doing this crap then, Or maybe you're just full of crap. I'm going with B here, but nonetheless, I mean, like lobbyists, political consultants, like why wouldn't they have their names on this stuff? Well, it could risk their contacts in DC. Okay, so in other words, they're admitting they're peddling horseshit. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here, this whole thing. So this is percolating, but the part that resonated the most with me is this trademark tactic. So you've got these reporters who, again, have shopped the story around for some point in time before coming to the Atlantic. We're talking 24 people involved now. So this is lengthy investigation, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
think about how much time spent reaching out, sending them questions, waiting for responses to come back, compiling, then building the article up. We're talking a couple of weeks effort here minimum, right? And as a spokesman for the FBI stated, they were contacted at the last minute. Despite the fact that Kash Patel is the focus of the story involving his efforts at the FBI, Sarah Fitzpatrick didn't reach out to him or the FBI until about 2 hours before publication on Friday.
Giving them like basically a very, very tiny window with which to gather up everything that we're going to report, look at all of the sources, do everything, and then make a rebuttal. And I'm like, you call it the deadline gambit? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do that in my column.
Perfect. Yeah, that is the perfect descriptor for this, because that's exactly what they do. They wait until the very last minute to send it, and then they don't give you enough time to do your rebuttal or anything. Well, apparently it was enough time for Patel to do something and warn them.
Yeah, it's, I mean, just imagine that you've got, they dump 2,000 words on you with dozens of contacts that are making these claims, and they want you to respond. You care to comment? How about a little time, huh? And I think, I don't know if it's his lawyer or the spokesperson, one of them had actually responded, was like, listen, reading through this, don't run it. This is crap. Give us time to go through it and respond. Nope. Publish it at, I don't know, like 3 o'clock.
They went in there. Whatever. I mean, they jumped it, and it was almost as if we dare you to actually take action. And I'm like, y'all have no idea.
And the lawyer even said, listen, don't do this. And when they said they're still going to, that's when they, threw the letter together. They gave him a 3-page, wasn't cease and desist, but hey, here's all the bull crap in your story. We're responding. And if you print any of this stuff, we're suing. That's basically what they told him. So they ran with it. And again, this was I think 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock on Friday is when they published. And Monday morning, the suit was taken to court by Kash Patel. I mean, it was just like bang. I think it was might have been just after 10 Eastern. And I think, in fact, I flipped over to Bongino on his show just to see if he had, of course, anything to say about it. And he was saying, let me tell you something. I worked alongside this guy. I would have seen something. I would have. What's that? Oh, okay. We just got word. The lawsuit has been filed. I mean, it was like that. So I think like 10 a.m. it came in. This is so typical. And I think the most, there's so many glaring aspects to this, but I think the most telling one is how few news outlets followed through. It's like there wasn't a media dog pile. And really, the networks and all that only got involved after Kash filed his lawsuit, because then they talked about that. And
it was almost as if they were talking about how Patel was being so frivolous. And again, he got his fifis hurt and decided to throw this lawsuit. And I'm like, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah, and that's the media type. Once again, the Trump administration is attacking the media. That was the narrative, of course. And Kash Patel, another frivolous lawsuit, defamation. These things never get passed. Blah blah. It's like, do you guys want to cover the actual story itself? No. Why? I could probably answer that because Reuters came up with some follow-up reporting yesterday. They couldn't corroborate any of the claims in the piece. Came out and said it. we tried to, because we've seen this before, like when something on the inside gets spilled. We saw it a lot with the Pentagon and Hexit last year, and the White House on occasion. Like if the New York Times said, we got 4 contacts that said this is bull crap, and then the Washington Post shows up. We've independently corroborated. And then CNN would have theirs, even though it's all the same 4 contacts for each outlet. But it's something they couldn't even do with this story. Like Reuters tried and said, we got nothing. That speaks volumes right there.
Amazing to me how, it's again, I'm going to throw this out there. They really are Pharisees. They are being Pharisees when it comes to, the media.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time that big news happens, like, for example, Kash Patel suing The Atlantic, they don't look at the merits of the suit. They don't follow the trail at all. They just basically say, oh, he got his feelings hurt, so this is what he's doing. Not thinking about, hey, we should actually report on why The Atlantic is being sued and why this has possible merit. No. That's no. That would actually give Patel his lawsuit legs. So we can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. And, and the other, one of the other common traits was, oh man, Kash Patel doesn't realize what he did because on the disclosure side, he's going to have to provide what bar receipts? What are you talking about? Like, how is he going to disprove a negative? I wasn't drinking that night. Prove it. It's like that kind of, and they also, when they say that, pretend like The Atlantic isn't also on the hook. These, a lot of people gloss over this little detail, but this is the same outlet that last September settled the defamation suit for $1 million. Because Fitzpatrick was on with Jen Psaki. She's like, oh no, this is a very sterling reputation this outlet has, and our lawyers are very good. Yeah, well, your lawyers threw in the towel about 6 months ago. Oh, wouldn't be too cocky there, Sarah. I'm just going to say it. But it's, honestly, I don't know how much of a shot he's got because, defamation is tough to prove. You've got a very high bar to clear, especially if you're in the public eye like he is. So I'm going to say small chance of him winning. But if it stretches out and if he can establish just the right things and this goes on for a while, then, it's probably going to be settlement city at some point in time. But
which is not the first time for The Atlantic. So.
And that's the thing is, it's like, oh, he doesn't realize that this is involved. He's the top cop in the country. I think he understands how lawsuits work, especially if he's the one bringing it forward. Wait a second, I have to give documents? Yeah. What?
It's almost like they forgot that part.
Well, because that's confirmation bias, because they're just convinced he's stupid and a drunk. But the other aspect of this, the other, revealing aspect number, 5 or 6 now. When it comes to all these anonymous sources, the funny thing is quite a few people came out in support of him, denying the charges, saying these things never happened, and gave their name, and we know where they work. FBI director, the lawyer, Carolyn Levitt from the White House responded and said, this is meritless, and this guy's been doing a fantastic job at the FBI. The communications office is on the record. The deputy in the communications office, the guy that worked alongside Patel for months during the confirmation process, came forward. He's like, all they had to do was call me. I could have said anything they wanted. I was with this guy 24/7 pretty much from December to January before his confirmation. He's like, there's no way. And the claims are he shows up very late to meetings, and the FBI is running aground because of this. Morale sucks, and he's in Vegas more than he's in the office. This is provable stuff. Pretty sure when he was in Vegas that had to do with the shooting that took place in Utah. Wonder what that was all about. And, if you're on the left coast, you got a 3-hour difference. So if your morning briefings that normally take place at 8 are taking place at 11 because you're on the left coast, that makes a little more sense too. Just saying, facts. It's just a lot of it was petty. A lot of it was just garbage character assassination, but we have no idea from who. We have no idea where, what office they hold. And
No, I think this is, and honestly, I've never, when he's always been professional. I don't recall anybody in the administration actually saying having issues with his professionalism at any time. And I think this may stem from the time that he had been invited to the locker room during the Olympics and he was drinking with the entire USA team. And I honestly, I think that's where it came from. I don't, because everybody attacked him for that. Nobody actually cheered on the USA team. They found that to attack and forgot all about the victory that we had just scored, for lack of a better term. So I do think that I've been looking at the times where he has been in a social location. He has been with people representing the U.S., representing the Trump administration, representing, the FBI. I've never seen him actually, even in a social occasion in those times. I've never actually seen him drinking. There are no photographs of him doing so. There's no, even into social occasions. And what I mean by social occasions, having the dinners and all that stuff, and standing around the cocktail hour or whatever. I've never seen. The only time I actually saw him drinking was during that um, locker room celebration.
yeah, he had a beer,
Yes.
but, and again, you would think that if his exploits are this extensive, if he's this renowned, everybody knows where the phone videos. Like,
Yes.
who's-
Everybody
where
has
are
a
they
smartphone.
they're going to shoot him in a nightclub, hammered at 2 a.m, or dancing like a fool, or falling asleep on a bar top, or I mean, you would think something like that would emerge, but no, haven't seen that either.
Yeah, his office is not a skiff, y'all. Everybody can walk in there with a smartphone. This is what I don't understand. It's just like, I mean, where's the video proof? Everybody at this point in our technological life, we do have the wherewithal to video record almost everything. And social media has actually incentivized that, because people thrive on the clicks, thrive on the likes, thrive on the being the first to actually post something online that can go viral. Going viral, it's people seek that now. So where is all this stuff?
Oh yeah, and then how many news outlets would pay for that? I mean, people would monetize that in a heartbeat if they could.
Oh yes, definitely.
What's taking place here is something that took place with Pete Hegseth when he was being confirmed, and that is putting the priority over the anonymous sourcing and completely diminishing the people going on the official record and saying otherwise. Because if you look at it this way, the ones going on the record are taking the big risk. Because again, these people are not giving their name because, oh, that could be a threat to their career. It's like, okay. On the other side, these people are going on the record and say this stuff never happened. And if it comes to be exposed that it did happen, now they're on the hook. So I put a little more credence into this, and I had to laugh. It was like, I think yesterday we were discussing this on social media, and I said, they got all these FBI officials that are on the record denying it. I don't believe FBI officials. Okay, so you believe the anonymous sources? Yeah, they have nothing to lose. Okay, great. Half of them are FBI officials, according to Fitzpatrick. So now what are you going to do? If you've got two sets of FBI officials, doesn't it stand to reason the ones going on the record are kind of weighted a little above the others? But no. And this is, they just want to believe the rumors. And Hegseth, during the hearing times, this is who was that? NBC, I think, that put it out. We spoke to 10 people familiar with Pete Hegseth at Fox News, many of them former employees who contacted us and told us he drank all the time. It's like, wait, former employees? They're not even at Fox News. Yeah, but they wanted to keep their names quiet, professional. Why? They're not at Fox anymore. What risk are they taking if they're not even there now? And they're saying Pete Higgs was a drunk. So they had 10 people anonymously saying this. Meanwhile, all the people that work with him at Fox on the air and otherwise were saying this is a load of crap. I'm with the guy every day. He was never hammered. He was never late once for a show. Never hungover. Total professional. Yeah, but we got 10 people that say he was a drunk. Who are they? Can't say. Got it.
Can't tell you. They're all, anonymous sources. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to cut it for me, because if these people, keep it in mind, they're not even, the Whistleblower Act is not even being brought up here. They're just anonymous sources, right? And if this were true, because this is what they're accusing Patel of is very grave, and it can damage national security, and it can damage the integrity of the office that he is serving. Whistleblowers would be coming out, putting their names on it, and being protected by the Whistleblower Act. That does rise to this. So why aren't they coming out?
I had some people yesterday saying, "Oh, you just want to expose whistleblowers." Look, these aren't whistleblowers, because we don't know who they are and we don't know what their position. A whistleblower is only valid if you know where they're coming from, even if they have to be anonymous. Maybe they're
But
giving
that's why the
testimony.
act exists, right? To protect them from any liability and from any,
Right.
Retaliation.
It does, sure. But even if if they want to remain anonymous to a degree, they would still testify, say, to Congress. Behind closed doors, their names will be redacted. But Congress would have to establish at least who they are and what position they have in order for their testimony to have any validity. We don't even have all they have here is like people at the FBI. Great. What do they do? Can't say.
Can't or won't.
It could be that level of quote proof. So it's,
Yeah.
and I've been accused too of, you're just defending the drunk Patel. It's like, no, I'm doing no such thing. I'm calling out the media and their journalism level basement that it is.
Well, yeah, exactly. If the allegations are true, somebody has to actually come forward and use the Whistleblower Act, protect themselves with it, and actually testify that this is going on, because this is serious. These allegations are very serious. They can affect our FBI, his office, the administration.
And it affects morale, and it could have people in the field questioning directives and such. And
Wow, you sound really loud now.
I did.
Yeah, is your mic working? Like, is it plugged in or?
Yeah, lights on, everything's good. I haven't even moved. I'm still at the same position. Should I lean back?
I don't know. It sounds like there's like a laundry going on in the back. I have no idea. Go on.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I said, if he's drunk on the job and you established this as a fact, why would I defend that? There's, it's kind of indefensible, really. But there's, I'm saying this isn't proof. This doesn't hold up. This doesn't work.
No, and like I said, if indeed this is true, this is something that's very serious, and somebody needs to come forward and actually, testify that this is true. And we do need to see actual proof of this happening, because this does affect the integrity of his office. But I don't see that happening here. I see a smear job right now.
And it's funny you brought up the whole Pharisee thing, because that's something else that played out that cracked me up, because he's hosting these they're not prayer vigil. He's actually giving a sermon at the Pentagon once a month, a religious service. People can voluntarily go. This has been controversial in and of itself. People voluntarily going to a service. But,
yes.
During his press conference last week, he said that
just railing at the media because of their coverage of the war. He said, you guys are acting just like the Pharisees, where you come in and see good works taking place, and then you turn around and immediately badmouth it. Oh my God, he called himself Jesus, or what's he comparing us to? And it's like, no, he's saying the press is acting this way towards the military. And like within an hour of him giving this speech, what happened? The press came out and acted like Pharisees.
Yes, completely.
They claimed that he had given a prayer that he claimed to be reading from the Bible when it was actually a quote from Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, that's not what happened, but all right.
Who's too stupid to realize it?
You
It's like,
basically just proved them right.
so you're saying he was leaping through? Like, how do you open the Bible and mistake it, or somebody fed this to him and we didn't even read the Bible because he wasn't reading it? He was saying a prayer that the military uses in the field, and he explained it as such. In fact, did so 3 times. I had people yelling at me, "You're too stupid, go watch the video." And it's like, I've got the video in front of me, it's a minute long, watch it. He says 3 times, this is a prayer they use right before they go out. They say this prayer, this is a prayer. I mean, he kept saying it. He's like, it's partly based on Ezekiel, it's partly based on that, but he wasn't quoting the Bible. And says it right there. And so they actually did the very thing that he said they do, and they were just like, how dare he?
I think the media is more upset about the fact that the moniker is more apt than they care to admit, because it does expose the media. Now everybody looks to see, let's see if they're going to be kind of like the Pharisees now. Every time they decide to report on something, now people will compare them to this. And the Pharisees were not exactly good guys. So
yeah,
that actually, I think it makes, if it didn't have any merit, the media would just dismiss it, thinking it's no big deal, it's nothing. But it does have merit, and this is why they're so upset about it. This is why they were so angry about that moniker. And like I have said, when you start taking flack, that's because you're over the target. And that's exactly what Hexa was doing. He was taking flack because he was over the target.
Well, it's I don't know, it's been comical. I don't know, making my job easy. It's been.
Oh, you have been in ground zero of all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have a bit more on this tomorrow. I'm just cracking up at those coming out in defense. Oh, this is just solid reporting, and the Atlantic is just just an erstwhile publication, top on a heap when it comes to journalism. Really?
Well, I'm waiting to see what happens when. I mean, this made news today. It was over on Salem Media, talking about Alan Dershowitz and how he has actually switched from Democrat to Republican. And it's very important to make the distinction, because a lot of people say, I'm just leaving the Democrat Party and I'm becoming independent, when you're actually watering down your assignation, for lack of a better term. But when you flip from one side to the other and explain why, there's a possibility that you actually take people with you. Because I know, because that's what happened with me. I did not become an independent. I left. I went from Democrat to Republican. And I took several members of my family with me when I explained why, when I explained how this was no longer working for me. And this is how this was, different from when we were younger, different from when we were, living in Puerto Rico and all this stuff. And I was explaining to them, and, I woke up several people in my family and they became Republican. If I had remained independent, they would not have felt the need to leave the Democrat Party. They would have just said, well, she's just confused right now. She'll probably still vote Democrat, whatever, la 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 la, and just leave it at that, which I have witnessed before with people who have left either the Republican or the Democrat Party and become independent. I have seen people say, well, you'll probably still caucus with one or the other. But when you leave one for the other, it's a little bit more intense. It's a little bit more serious. So I'm waiting to see what the media starts saying about Alan Dershowitz. So I'm sure he'll be attacked. I'm sure he'll be attacked. Because this is a man who is very well known for his intelligence. He is a constitutional lawyer. He has very, very famous cases and won. As a matter of fact, I'm sure everybody remembers the movie Reversal of Fortune was based on the Klaus von Bülow case that he defended and won, which people were like, I can't believe that happened. But yeah, he's a very good lawyer. And for him to actually say the Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party that we used to have. This has been completely taken over by Islamists. This has been completely taken over by Marxists, communists. This has been completely taken over, and this is not a Democratic Party anymore. People are going to start people will pay attention, especially when he is speaking from the Jewish point of view and actually laying the case for other Jews to leave the Democrat Party. So we'll see how that plays out, because like I said, there's a difference when you switch from one party and go independent, and there's a big difference if you switch from one party and go to the other. And I'm not saying just from Democrat to Republican. I've seen Republicans become Democrats too, and I have seen a switch with several other people. And we've all witnessed it with the whole Never Trump movement. So we'll see how it plays out. I'll be sipping the tea on this one.
Yeah, he'll. I'm pretty sure he's going to get dragged through the Epstein mud as a result of this.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to come back up.
They're definitely going to go after him for this. There was speaking of like under fire in this fashion, this one cracked me up. That Act Blue, the fundraising arm of the Democrat Party.
Oh yeah, Act
Blue. They're in a little bit of trouble right now. This is a complete racket. It has been for years. I don't know the exact time frame it's been in existence, but they have literally counted donations probably over 15 years, 20 years.
I think
in
so.
The billions of dollars funneling through this thing. And it's so pervasive, in fact, that there's a number of times where, charitable pleas will go out, help this family or relief efforts, for natural disasters or something. And you can donate here. Just go through Act Blue. It's like, wait, if I'm giving to the Red Cross, why do I have to go to Act Blue to give Red Cross money? But they do this because I think they get a cut if it, passes through, but they also get your information. So they can reach out to you and contact you regarding elections and such. Oh, I see. But Act Blue is coming under fire because it's been found that they've been taking a significant amount of donations from overseas interests. Huh? What's that?
Yeah, Ken Paxton is having a field day with this one.
The people that are, love to say that Donald Trump is in the back pocket of Putin and other foreign interests and what's going on. Yeah, how about that? And they're collecting money from Qatar and other things. It's like, well, I'm sorry, what? Congress is conducting hearings now, and they're subpoenaing people from Act Blue who are refusing to talk. So as of right now, I don't know what the final tally is after today, but this afternoon, the number was just about 150 people who have testified have pled the fifth from Act Blue.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken
Damn.
Paxton actually filed suit here in the state of Texas against Act Blue. Ken, I will say this: Ken Paxton has been on fire lately here in Texas, and I think it's due to the fact that he is in a very heated race against um, what's his name, Ugh, John Cornyn.
Hmm.
Because yeah, we would rather have Ken Paxton as a senator than John Cornyn, because John Cornyn is pretty much a rhino at this point. And I think Ken Paxton is actually trying to pad his resume, and everything. But the thing is, all of the cases that he has been bringing forth as Attorney General here in the state of Texas have a lot of merit and have standing. So it's not like they're frivolous. And one of them is this Act Blue case. So everybody here in Texas is viewing this because there are certain Democrats that are not happy about Act Blue either. Believe it or not, there have been a few outspoken people who have said, "Hey, we donated. We didn't know. I thought my money was going to the DNC, and it was not." So they want accountability as to where this money has been going, not just where it's coming from, but where it's going to, because there is no accountability. It's become a slush fund. And so, yeah, I'll be watching to see how that one plays out too. There's quite a few on his docket, so
Well, nothing
yeah.
like an election to motivate somebody to start doing their job.
Well, to be fair, Ken has been hindered a lot by other lawsuits that people have brought against him, trying to hinder him so that these things could not get to the docket. So a lot of people are like, "Well, he is, he's corrupt." I'm going, "Okay, please explain it to me. How is he corrupt?" "Well, he just is." I'm like, "But what did he do?" Obviously, there's something that he did. Nobody could ever tell me. And everybody points to a lawsuit that somebody filed against Ken Paxton for misappropriation of funds or something to that effect and everything. And I'm like, and then what happened? Well, nothing. I don't know what happened. Nobody can tell me what happened. And I can't find anything anywhere. And apparently it's enough to bring a lawsuit to make you corrupt rather than actually see the lawsuit go through and find you guilty of corruption, as we have witnessed with our own president. So, and somebody was asking me, who would you rather have, Cornyn or Paxton or this other guy? And I said, look, here's the thing. Every single politician I know has his faults. I don't like any politician. I can appreciate some politicians, but I cannot like them because just the fact that they're a politician already gives me the ick. So I just don't. Not even Ted Cruz. And I like the stuff that he does for the most part. So, but if you're going to tell me this guy did this, and this guy did this, I'm going to choose the guy whose crime did not affect his constituency. That's the one I'm going to pick. And everybody looks at me like, what? It's like, if the crime he committed did not affect his constituency or the people of the state that he represents or the area he represents, I'm going to go with that guy. And they're like, why do you say that? It's like, because, again, his crime did not affect the people he represents. This guy's crime did. This guy's crime did, but this guy's crime didn't. So that's who I'm going to go with, because at least I have a shot at keeping this guy honest. I don't have a shot with the other two. And everybody's like, ooh. So this is why Ken Paxton, now that the pathway is towards the Senate run or whatever, and the frivolous lawsuits have been dropped or whatever, now he has a clear path to actually bring all of this forth. So a lot of people are like, well, he hasn't been doing his job. Yeah, he's kind of been held back from doing it. and I can pinpoint certain areas, Travis County, that have hindered him in that department. But so we'll see about this Act Blue thing here in Texas. We'll see what happens with Act Blue over there. So, but yeah, like I was saying, there are some people that I know who are Democrat who have given to Act Blue that are like very upset about this because they thought their money was going to a certain place and now they don't know.
Yeah.
And
Well, this
and
has
for
been
them
the
it's
case
like
for some time.
and for them it's like if it went to a Democrat, okay, but we don't even know if that happened. They don't know. And that's why they're upset. They'd be okay if it went to another Democrat in another state, as long as it went to another Democrat. But they don't even know where the money went. So they're paying attention about this too.
Yes, it's a long-standing operation, but finally, it looks like there might be a little bit accountability. Dare I hope so.
I
There
hope
we
so.
go. Got some updates from the state of Florida. Our politicians are starting to act in a fashion that I'm far more accustomed to them acting here in Florida for quite a few years
Are they
now.
naked eating faces with bath salts or
No,
what?
stop it. Will you quit it? That's the residents. No, the politicians are traditionally here, completely corrupt and bat crap crazy set of individuals. I, point to the woman that is from a very urban central district of Florida that's, very citywide, who has a collection of about 200 cowboy hats.
Oh, yeah, her.
Spangled, bedazzled, flashy,
Yes.
chartreuse and vermilion and bright neon blue, traditional cowboy hat colors. That's kind of what I'm used to down here. Well, we've got Sheila Shafilis McCormick. We talked about her before. She was the one that.
Oh, yeah. Is she of the $100,000 diamond ring, right?
I actually I posted that this afternoon. In fact, a side by side of her official Senate or congressional photograph, and then the Christmas image of that photograph she put out, where curiously the very large diamond on her hand somehow disappeared after the scam came out.
How odd. How very, very odd.
Yeah, she's the one that was caught skimming a significant amount of millions from relief funds and other, basically bilked FEMA for like $5 million for family business and many other things, campaign. And well, she basically has come under fire in the House. They were holding hearings. Well, she is now going to resign. How about that? And there's another Florida politician that's also under fire. So now they're starting to act like I'm used to down here in my state. The years of normalcy that Ron DeSantis had brought really made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't know where I was living anymore. I think I've said to Ordy a few times how it makes me feel a little edgy that Florida was actually for a time looked at like jealously. Man, I can't believe you live down there. The place sounds great. Ron DeSantis is running it. It's like, but we're a freaking nut house. What are you talking about? But this is more in keeping with what I'm used to, the Florida man style of politics. So that's on par. I do have some breaking news, however.
Oh?
The vote in Virginia for the gerrymandering looks like it's passing. About 95% of the precincts now. This is slim. This is like a 49-51 vote, but it looks like the approval for the gerrymandering is going to go through.
How is that possible?
Well,
I'm guessing somebody cheated.
Well, there's actually a map here of how they voted in the state. Almost the entire state is red for no. And there might be like 10 counties green, including the Arlington and Fairfax area where everybody lives that works in DC, i.e. liberals. So
now keep in mind, Spanberger did say this was a temporary action. How did she ever explain how this was supposed to be temporary?
Yeah, until they
Because
win
I
the
never
election.
saw it. I never saw where it was.
You know, it's probably going to be then after they win the election. Well, then we'll codify it properly, and then everybody's like, "We want Democrats." Oh, okay. So it's rather funny that almost the entirety of the state voted against this on a county basis, and you'll just have to flip the colors now because a handful of counties are dictating that they're almost all going to be Democrat repped. And this is also the same Spanberger who has announced now that her delegates in the general election will not be apportioned based on the voters. It's going to be based on the popular vote of the country.
Yeah, how does that even hold constitutional muster?
Or common sense. Or
No, I know it has absolutely no common
propriety.
sense.
Yeah, it's just like, how do you just completely disregard the voting of your people? It's like, well, okay, I see 70% of the state voted one way, but the rest of the country wants somebody else, so that's who we're voting for. That is completely sideways. But this is Spanberger. This is Virginia. This is what the people apparently want. I don't know. It's amazing what passes for politics anymore. But I do have some lighthearted news.
What?
Although this could be one you won't like, because you're a bit of a Lego aficionado.
I am.
She's a woman of the bricks, as it were.
I am.
Criminal case out of California involving Legos. California man has been arrested for Lego fraud. Now, if you're sitting there scratching your head saying, what in the living hell are you talking about? This is a proper response. So, they caught this guy committing Lego fraud. Apparently what he would do is buy the Lego set, take it home, and then later go back to Target and return the Lego set. However, inside the box were not Legos, because he opened the box, took the bricks out, and then filled it with dried pasta. And brought it back to get his money from Target. This proved a rather effective scam on his part. 70 times he has done this.
Amazing.
I don't encourage criminal acts, far be it from me to, do such, but I'm kind of impressed. It's just, there's a little bit of an ingenious aspect to this, because even the cops said that, once this was discovered, like, people would buy the set and they're like, why the hell do I have dried rigatoni? This is supposed to be a Star Wars trooper.
Rigatoni.
The cops would say, yeah, it even sounded like Legos were in the box. So he hit upon something, but of course, these are criminals we're talking about. So they just, you got to wonder, like, was there going to be a point in time where he thought, okay, I got to stop this or I'm going to get caught? Kept forging ahead, though. 70 times he pulled this off. Damn.
I can't. Am I impressed? Yes. I should not be impressed, but I am.
Well, that's the thing is, there's that high level of thinking that was involved in this, and at the same time, he just couldn't stop himself either. At some point,
one more, just one more.
Just one score. I'm gonna get the Death Star, and then that's my last hit.
I mean, that's a big ass one to try and take back with pasta. I I don't know what guy did he I mean, was he just taking like the small mid-size, the regular 20 to $30 price point ones, or was he going for the 250 upwards? Because that does make kind of that could rise the level of his thievery, depending on how much these things cost.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know
the
what I
other
mean?
thing is that you probably have a sliding scale of sorts too. Like the bigger the set that you would scam on, the more money is involved when the individual is dropping like $200 and they just bought $5 worth of pasta. That's bound to get noticed pretty quick, I think. So yeah, I don't know all the specifics which sets, but the idea that he was doing it for that long still kind of amazes me. I would think like after 3 or 4, unless he was just like going to random Target stores all around the California area doing this, then it might be a little tougher. But even so, you would think when it at some point in the chain of business that it had to been discovered, right? Like when more and more stores are turning it in on the damaged stock side, and it's like, any special notes? Yeah, box is full of Farcelli. Wait, what? Huh? That's going to get noticed at some point in time. A customer bought the Star Wars set, but it was filled with macaroni instead. Okay, just like the 5th time that's happened, something's going on. But no, 70. Wow.
Well, I gotta say, like I said, I kind of it took a lot of chutzpah to do.
Well, here you go.
So,
I
but like I
finally,
said, I'm kind of wondering how much he stole, because that will have an effect on his sentencing, I suppose.
I've got a figure. They're estimating that he did steal about $34,000 worth of Lego sets. So
Oh my gosh.
this
That
points to your theory now, because if you divide that by 70, you're at about the $500 mark.
so he was pilfering the high cost ones. Dang. That's a lot of pasta, man.
Yeah,
I bet he was buying the when it was on sale. It was buy one get one free. The combo loco at HEB, whatever. I don't know. Right now, my local grocery store has the Skinner pasta 10 for $10. I'm sure that's what he was doing.
well, I
I am
found
very sure he was doing something like that.
I did get another report here. So, yeah, okay, this one's by CBS now. In addition to the thefts at the Target stores in several counties in California, the guy allegedly replaced the pieces of pasta for returns in stores in Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and New Jersey. So this guy was getting around. Huh.
Oh, so he was traveling while he was doing this too.
Yes. No.
So he
Um,
he had this all planned out. Wow.
So they found, of course, a bunch of Legos in his home when they booked him. And these were definitely the sets that were consistent with what he was purchasing and then returning. Star Wars sets, Marvel sets, which have a very high value on the secondary market.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's really funny because I have some sets here that are still in boxes. Don't you dare throw shade at me. I'm still working on the one you gave me.
I was just about to.
That one has been open and I'm still working on it, but I need to go find it because it's in the far shed. Okay. But no, I have other sets that I
Make it.
purchased.
You will soon.
What? What
You
did you
gotta,
say?
I said, make it soon. You will.
Oh, stop.
I got her a Yoda,
Anyway.
life size,
Any,
in fact.
yes. 'Cause, he was short. So, but the thing is that there was, I still have the original um, Hogwarts train. I have the original Hagrid's hut. I have the Trevi Fountain, which was an architecture one. It's still in a box because I bought two by mistake. So I built one, and then the other one's in a box. And I was planning on taking that one back to the store and replacing it with the the plaza in Venice, but I never got around to doing it. So now it's still in a box. And I'm like, maybe I should just put these on eBay
There you go.
with pasta.
Ooh.
Hell no, I would never do that to anybody. But
Sounds like your villain origin story is popular.
if I were to have a villain origin story, it would probably involve Legos. Not even joking. Anyway, well, it's a good stress reliever to work on Legos. But I have heard that there are people that they don't rely on Legos to relieve their stress. This is a poor segue. Okay. But apparently I heard that Gen Z is now carrying around anxiety bags. And I thought it was, at first I thought, what? What is an anxiety bag? It's just basically a little, like a little bag, a little go kit, and you put stuff in there that you feel will relieve your stress on the go. And apparently this started on TikTok. It became a viral sensation there. Everything becomes a viral sensation in TikTok. This is why I hate that application. In China, they don't use TikTok for clicks or likes or viral anything. They use TikTok to teach math and science and economics and agriculture and things of that nature. Here, they don't do that. They encourage the algorithm to do the stupidest things imaginable, which tracks because it is a Chinese company. So, but this went viral, and it's a little, all it is, it's a little pouch. Usually has a zipper or a button or whatever, and you put things in it that you feel will relieve your stress. Some people put candy, which, I'm sorry, candy's a great stress reliever, but you don't need to put it in an anxiety bag. Just put it in your purse or your back pocket, whatever.
It's a stress fanny pack.
Yeah, and some people put some of their medication in there. Some people put a fidget spinner. Some people put a stress ball. Other people put essential oils. They'll put a one of those little tiny massage things that you can put on your temples. They'll put things of that kind of stuff, and people are calling it, this is just simply genius. And I'm like, this is not genius. Every single woman that has ever carried a purse knows this is not genius. This is not new. We've always had stuff in our bag to help calm down our kids, to help, hey, I'm going into an interview. I need some, chewing gum so that my breath is fresh and everything. I need hand lotion so that when I shake their hand, it's, nice, it's firm, blah, 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 blah. Things of that. We've always done this, but Gen Z is now taking it to a level where it's for coping. And I'm like, did we have that level of coping mechanisms when we were in school. You and I are the same age, graduated around the same time. I don't remember doing that, but I know that we did have things that we like to play with. We had Slinkies, we had Rubik's Cube, we had our very own fidget spinner was basically our ruler on a pencil and we would spin it around. We did that a lot in class. Okay. We did. We did that a lot in class, but nothing to the point where we needed to take all of these things and reach into that bag to relieve stress. And I started wondering, why is it that this particular generation is so hung up on relieving stress? Why are they so stressed out? What is different about this generation that even millennials are not at this point, you know? And it started hitting me. It's that the whole state of fear has been ratcheted up so exponentially since the year 2000, 2001 or so, that and it has stayed very high. And this is why you see a lot of posts on social media that refer to we're the generation had it worse than anybody else. You know, we have to deal with this and we have to deal with that and we have to deal with this other thing. And I'm going, dude, we've had to deal with the same kind of stuff. I don't understand. Why are you freaking out? Just, sit down, look at the problem and figure out a solution. And they can't do that without the help of an anxiety bag. And it's really weird. And I hate to say it, I even suggested this to my daughter because she does suffer from extreme high anxiety and certain OCD issues. And she said, I can't believe that you're actually suggesting I do this. And I said, why? I said, because you probably think it's stupid. I said, but you don't. And if it helps you, I'm okay with it. But you need to, and I said, but you need to understand the part of your anxiety stems from you being bombarded by social media daily. And I said, I've seen you on your phone. And she has me blocked on social media. She has me completely blocked on social media. But I've seen her on her phone, on her IG. I've seen her on her Snapchat. I've seen her on, all these things. And Tumblr and she is completely bombarded with all of this stuff. She doesn't understand that if you just look at social media as just not a lifeline, but a canker sore, you start feeling better. You start actually feeling better if you take a look at social media in a different perspective. And so I told her, I said, but you're not willing to do that. You're not willing to, until you are willing to do that, perhaps having a little bag with the little things that you like to play with or whatever. And so she said she would take it under advisement. I think one of my, I was telling my girlfriend about this, the one that has the antique store downtown. And she was like, that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. I can't believe that people would do that. And the little girl that works there part-time, she was like, oh, I have one. And she turns to us like, why? my friend has no filter. And she's just like, why? Why do you have one? And she's like, well, sometimes I get so stressed about something. So I need, and so she says, I have this little, apparently is this viral little squishy thing that you buy at Walmart. Walmart can't keep it on the shelves or something. And it's like a little squishy thing. And then, so I take this out and I squish it a lot. And she's like, just buy a tennis ball next time. It's cheaper. You can use it in other ways. And it's, it doesn't fall apart like this thing is about to. And she's like,
something like, well, I need this because my boss is a complete bitch.
It's really strange, but I do think that this is just another crutch. This little anxiety bag thing is just another crutch. And I did tell this to my daughter. I did tell her.
I've seen this in school. Like it used to be back in the day when I went to school. Pull this crap out, and the first thing that would happen is the teacher would take it, throw it in a drawer, if not the trash.
Yes.
But today, all this stuff is allowed in the classroom because it helps the kids to focus, and it dissipates anxiety and allows them to study better.
Well, and there's this, there was one gal on this particular, it was a New York Post article or whatever, and she's holding a little bag and it says, "You need to calm down. You're being too loud." I have two words for you, and I will say them quietly. Fuck you. Okay. You don't tell me to calm down. You don't tell me that I'm being too loud. You have the issue. You remove yourself from it. And this is one of the things why this particular bag kind of rubs me the wrong way, because this bag is put forward. You're not removing yourself from the stressful situation. What you're doing is forcing others to recognize your stress and adapt to your needs. And that is a no-go for me.
But this is
I'm
a
not even sorry for
generational
saying
thing.
it.
Like millennials, it used to be, I can't even. Gen Z is, I need a safe space. We're from Generation X, and our phrase was, leave me the F alone.
Yeah. And this is why I'm like, fuck you. No, I'm not going to do that. You can, anyway. But yeah, so check that out. Anxiety bags. Maybe somebody in the younger generation that may need that. It may make a good gift, but don't you ever give them the bag that says you need to calm down, you're being too loud, because I will hunt you down. Anyway, we're getting close to the top of the hour, and we do have a show after us, so
Yes, we do.
we should start saying our good nights.
Well, I do have one last story to hit really quick, but I'll fit it in.
Well, hurry up.
Well, we got 5 minutes, 4.5, 4.
Well, you take 2 minutes to give your spiel.
I do.
The longer you argue, the longer it's going to take for him to fit in his story.
Listen, you pipe down. I'm talking. So, this comes from ABC News 5 in Cleveland. There was a elderly resident in Cuyahoga County, 91-year-old, who had submitted her name to the health wellness check list, and that is for local authorities to call the elderly residents on a regular basis, sometimes daily, make sure everything's okay, copacetic. Hopefully you're doing well, need any problem, need any help. And checked in on this 91-year-old, and she was unresponsive. Couldn't answer the phone. Reach out to the family. They tried to reach her. Same. Knock on the front door. Didn't work. Couldn't answer. Well, they do have access to the home, and local law enforcement showed up. They had the code for the garage, opened it up, got inside. We saw the body cam video, and they're like announcing, police are here, wellness check, is everything okay? And then immediately the cop radioed back to dispatch, laughing. The woman was preoccupied, didn't hear the phone, didn't hear the announcements, because she was busy playing video games and trying to beat her personal high score.
You go, Granny. That is precious. That is a whole level of leave me the fuck alone. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. They were going for the defibrillator, and it turned out she was on the Xbox.
All righty. Okay. And with that last bit, Brad, go ahead and tell us where we can find you. Take a deep breath.
I am available daily over at townhall.com. I have a media column there called Rift from the Headlines, where I dig into the variety of problems in the press on a daily basis. I'm also on the front page of Red State, where you can see my hit pieces on the Atlantic, and I should have another follow-up tomorrow there. Also, I've got a twice-weekly podcast called Liable Sources, going even further into the mainstream media problems. And you can hear me on this network. Thursday night, I'm going to be here with Paul Young from Screen Rant with bad movies on disasters in the making. Alternate Thursdays, it's me and Ordy Packard covering the entertainment realm and business, a show on the Culture Shift. And, of course, every Tuesday at 8:30 right here with the ever-effervescent Aggie Rican. Friday, we've got our special, putting on the play. The KLRN players are doing Treasure Island. We will be there. So
yes. You have a big part.
That's, well, thank you very much.
That's
Oh, you
what
mean a
she
roll? I see. I mean, okay, got it.
said. Your role. Yeah.
And I'm also available on Jitter. If you want to see me harassing the media and getting into fights there, you can check me out at Martini Shark. And what about you, Aggie? Where can people find more of your magnificence?
You can find me at Aggie the Barkeep, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights doing the Cocktail Lounge with you, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights doing the He Said, She Said with Rowdy Rick. Second Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. doing Toxic Masculinity with the guys. And first Monday of every month, 8:30 p.m. Eastern doing Spirited Books with our very awesome producer, Jeff. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And we hope you have a lovely evening.
And go raise a glass and look at the ceiling.
But there's too many dots up there. You're going to make me count them all.
OCD.
And